Welcome back. For most of the year, temperatures hover around 30 degrees centigrade on the Coromandel coast. In summer, you can up that to 40 degrees. Malti Rao had to be made of stern stuff to travel there.
Vaksho viharini manohara divya murte Shri Swamini Shruta Janapriyadana Shile Shri Venkatesha Daite Tava Suprabhatam Tava Suprabhatam Aravindalokane.
It's home to the Dravidian civilization, a land where even today you can get a glimpse of life as it was in ancient India. And what better place to take that peek than at Dakshinachitra, a short distance from Chennai on the road to Mahabalipuram. It's an ambitious attempt to preserve the culture and ethos of a bygone era within a single village. Traditional crafts are still being practiced here in an authentic rural ambience.
Dakshinachitra seems to include all that Tamil Nadu has to offer in a nutshell. But I'm off now to see the real thing firsthand.
The 8th century Shaw temple at Mahabalipuram has scenes from the Mahabharata engraved on its walls. Legend has it that the king appointed a chief sculptor. The sculptor appointed a couple of whose work he became jealous and had them killed. Perhaps that's why many of the carvings are still incomplete.
As I find myself sheltered by the Shaw temple behind me and the murmurings of the waves ahead of me, I could almost fool myself to believe that I was part of the splendor of the 8th century.
But the crowds on the beach brought me back to reality. This place is inundated with visitors on weekends. It's better to come here on a weekday unless you can afford one of the exclusive resorts.
If you're looking for a heady mix of ancient architecture and breathtaking beaches, Mahabalipuram might well be your choicest cocktail.
What is interesting about the rock sculptures here is that they do not portray gods and goddesses in their multitudinous forms. Instead, you have depictions of ordinary people with everyday preoccupations. It's one of the freshest, most realistic and unpretentious rock carvings in India. Stone carving remains a living craft in Mahabalipuram, and the streets still reverberate with the sound of chisels and hammers. The carvers these days do not restrict themselves to temple carvings. Now you also have sculptures of JFK and Abraham Lincoln. These are to be part of a peace park, which is the brainchild of a Dutchman, John Boats, who happened to be in town.
There's a mother here from Mother Teresa.
Oh, that's a lovely one though.
John has been working on this project for 15 years and wants to dedicate the park to world personalities who strove for world peace in their lifetimes. Mahatma Gandhi, Yitzhak Rabin, John Lennon and Marlene Dietrich are only a few of those who will be immortalized in stone in Mahabalipuram.
The definition of stardom in Tamil Nadu is quite different from anywhere else in the world. They take it to ridiculous heights. If you're a star, you're no less than a demigod, or even God.
The landscape is dotted with massive cutouts of film stars and politicians. The popularity of a star can be gauged by the size of his cutout. By the way, if you're the sort who thinks that every Indian south of the Vindhyas is a Madrasi, here's a warning. People in Tamil Nadu don't like being called Madrasis, so you would be well advised to drop any such ill-informed references. They are a fiercely proud community who believe that their cultural heritage is unique. If you don't agree, I suggest you keep your opinion to yourself. In the 60s, angry Tamilians refused to allow Hindi to be taught in schools and used in official communiques.
ऐसे ही कुछ मिलता है यहाँ से या फिर पीछे से जाना है? किस तरफ से निकलना है?
It's difficult even now to get a Tamilian to speak in Hindi, even if he or she knows the language. It's like getting a Frenchman to speak in English, a virtually impossible task.
Only Tamil.
It is so quiet here that even a whisper seems to disturb the tranquility of this place. All I can hear is sound of the birds and breeze. I can't think of a better way to spend an evening, or the whole day for that matter.
Chidambaram. No, I'm not talking about our finance minister, but a little town 200 kilometers south of Chennai, which reverberates with music. The town is associated with a unique form of Shiva worship, not as a lingam, but as a dancer. There's a tale of a dance contest between Shiva and Kali, which Shiva won. The air of victory can be seen in every pose of the Natraja. For a break from what some people call the temple routine, the town of Tranquebar is ideal. It's 50 kilometers from Chidambaram, and it's where the Vikings first landed in India. The fishing village seems to be caught in a time warp. The names haven't changed. There's a road called King's Road and a church called the New Jerusalem Church. Even the houses have the pillared look, just like the Danes originally built it. But even here, you'll find the mandatory temple.
I'd like to have a dosa.
Dosa roast, masala roast, special roast, rani roast, butter roast, ghee roast.
Nalla dosa. In Tamil Nadu, it's impossible to do without a dosa. And with a variety as large as this, it's wise to simply leave it to the chef.
A name immortalized in the annals of Tamil history is that of Rajaraja Chola, the most powerful of all Chola kings. To emphasize that power, he built the Brihadishwara temple, yes, yet another one, in 985 AD. It's a masterpiece of Chola architecture. Tanjavur was ruled by Cholas, Pandyas and even the Marathas, who all added to the temple without altering its basic nature. Tanjavur is the culture capital of Tamil Nadu and the best place to pick up the famous Tanjore paintings, Chola bronzes, brass lamps and antiques. If you're in Tanjavur, you won't be able to resist the drive to the southernmost tip of India, Rameshwaram. This is where Hanuman is said to have led the bridge building operation to Lanka. And this is where Lord Ram is said to have offered thanksgiving to Lord Shiva. This is my last stop. Unless you have a passport, you won't be able to go any further.